Senate Appropriations Committee Chair Susan Collins, Republican of Maine, says that President Trump has empowered billionaire businessman Elon Musk far beyond what I think is appropriate. Reflecting growing angst on Capitol Hill over Musk's aggressive approach to slashing government funding, Collins bluntly questioned the wisdom of empowering Musk to slash programs authorized and funded by Congress. There's no doubt the president appears to have empowered Elon Musk to go far beyond what I think is appropriate, she told reporters. Collins is an author of the Better Energy Storage Technology Act, which she wrote to support energy storage research and development. It may be defunded to pay for a tax program, and Collins said she was specifically worried about it when asked. So I am concerned if the Trump administration is clawing back money that is specifically appropriated for a particular purpose, she said when asked about the BEST Act. Collins did note that former President Biden also pushed the bounds of executive power to redirect funding appropriated by Congress. Now, I'd stress that this president is not the first one to do that. If you recall, President Biden diverted funding that was supposed to be used to build the wall at the southern border and instead used it for environmental reviews, she said. Collins said Musk and his team failed to provide advance notice to Congress of the plans to freeze activity at the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, which he boasted he spent the weekend feeding into the wood chipper. There is a requirement in the law for 15 days notice of any reorganization. We clearly did not get that. We got the letter yesterday, she told The Hill on Wednesday. Collins said the law also calls for a detailed explanation of any reorganizations, renaming a bureau, shifting of centers, and again, we have not received that. She said she would talk to fellow Appropriations Committee members about our next steps. Collins said it is a very legitimate question whether Musk had the authority to shut down U.S. aid. You know, Collins, I don't talk about her as much because she doesn't tend to get invoked in the news as much as she used to, right, during the first Trump era, where she was one of the few Republican senators that actually had a little bit of a moral center. But things like this remind me of why I believe she's one of the better Republican senators of the last, it's got to be at least 20 or 30 years. So I would love for the MAGA people to explain to me how an unelected billionaire, because Trump, won an election, right? He can at least go around and pretend that the people want what he's proposing or trying to do. How an unelected billionaire who's not holding a cabinet position can control the finances of the U.S. government. I mean, how is it that all of Congress together, right? And Democrats, Republicans, 500 plus people, they vote for these bills, they vote for their funding, and then Musk, as an unelected official within Trump's administration, has the power to be like, well, I don't think this program, the BEST Act, I don't think we need that anymore. We don't need to pay for this type of thing as much as you guys thought we should, or I'm going to take part of the funding for it and use it for how does that work? Like, I know she brings up that Biden diverted funding from building the border wall to environmental reviews, but again, at least he's the president and can make the argument of, having some kind of executive power, which we can get into a debate about. I don't like it when presidents try to assert themselves as the emperor. My point is that at least with him, he did it himself. When you have Musk doing this, and he's not a cabinet member, he is not, again, unelected, it looks as though what people like Bernie Sanders say is true. Billionaires run the United States. Even when they don't hold office, they can go to someone who does and be given the power to do things that they should have no right and no authority to do. It is really disturbing that, like, all Trump has to do to put, like, cover for himself, right, is just go, oh, well, I want this program slashed by this. I want this. If he did it himself, there would be a little bit of pushback from people like Collins, right? They would go, hey, you know what? This is a program I was behind. I wrote the BEST Act. But at least as the president, as an elected person, he could make the argument of, this is my mandate and whatever. With Musk, there is no legitimate reason for him to have this ability. It's just a billionaire running the government, a billionaire that no one voted for, just running the U.S. government at the behest of another billionaire that people did vote for. It's pretty nuts, man. The oligarchy. When people say that, they're right. And again, when you see stuff like this, it should piss people off. You know, like we have these elections every 2 to 6 years where we put in different congressmen, different senators, and none of them have the power to, as a singular individual, they make up a body, right? A legislative body. None of them have the power by themselves to go, I don't think this program should receive the let's see, 1 billion that you allocated for it. Yeah, we're gonna cut that to 10 million, and we're gonna use the other amount to do this other thing. You wouldn't see any congressman or senator do that or try to do that. But for some damn reason, Musk can. It's hard to believe it's only been 2 weeks since Trump came back, because he's already provoking some people in this party to criticize him. I'm going to try to do a video about Rand Paul's rebuke of him on Israel, but it's nice to see that little tiny segment of Republican senators who have been around before Trump. They're not cultists. They don't go along with every single thing he wants. It's nice to see them showing a little bit of pushback. Collins might not run for, I think it would be her 6th term in the Senate. I'd like her to, because she is a moderate voice, and this is evidence of it. Like, I don't, whenever, I have said before, I'm progressive, lean toward the Democrats, but I'm trying to be as fair as I can when I say I like it when members of both parties can be critical of people from their own, because it is like when we saw the whole blue MAGA thing, where the Democrats wanted to pretend Biden was okay and push back on anyone that either wanted him out of the race or criticized him. And then on the Republican side, we don't even have to get started on all the attempts to oust people that criticize Trump. It's nice to see at least a little bit of pushback over something that is very legitimate, which is the power of people who are not even cabinet members over our government. It is absolutely insane